How you doing? This is Apostle Stacey Woods, and you're watching Dimensions of Stacey. I am back because I've been asked to do this topic, and I guess this is something that I feel like talking about today, since I've got so many other things on my mind as well. But I thought it was a great question that a bishop actually asked me to talk about, and so I would like to do that. And if you can tell from the title of this video, this is going to be a good one. Um, the bishop asked me, what are the pitfalls of being single and the head of a ministry? What are the pitfalls of being single and the head of a ministry? Well, as you guys know, I am single, and I am the senior pastor and founder of Impact Outreach Ministries, and also Stacey Woods Ministries Incorporated. And I won't even go into all of the ministries that I have also planted, and all the ministries that I cover, and all the ministry work that I have done throughout these 20 years. So I certainly know about being single, because I am single. No rings on it. No rings. Okay, and I also know about being a senior leader and in a senior leadership position. What are the pitfalls? And that's a good question. This is not what, I don't have any notes or anything that I have written down. I'm just truly just coming from the heart on this one. And I can say that there are many pitfalls of being a senior leader that is not married, but there are also blessings. We didn't actually discuss the blessings, so I'll stick to the topic. Now, as far as pitfalls are concerned, many times people perceive you as being unable to lead other people if you don't have a traditional family. And when I say traditional family, I mean a husband, a wife, 2.5 children, a dog, and a white picket fence in a house. Of course, very rarely do we see that kind of family structure these days anyway. But yet for preachers, everyone, let me say this, everybody has what is seemingly this preconceived notion of what a preacher should look like. If we were to do a just a character sketch, and you bring up the word preacher or pastor, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you will see probably a middle-aged man with a wife and children. In fact, just look at how the world portrays preachers. Look at the unfair stereotypes that surround preachers, and you'll see what people come up with when you mention the word preacher, their preconceived notion. So oftentimes we are expected to fit those notions. When you say preaching, 9 times out of 10 people are not going to think of a single young woman. No. And those are the things that I face every day. That's just a part of my reality. I try not to get worked up over it anymore, because I just kind of know where people are and in their mindset. But that's usually what we have to encounter. So number one, when you don't have a family, people automatically assume that you're unable to lead others, or that you're unable to lead other families, or that you're unable to counsel people when they go through marital issues or even parenting issues, because you don't have a traditional family. People oftentimes write you off and consider you to be somewhat of a novice, that you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to family. But in particular with women preachers who are not married, there is a J word that people love to call you, and it's called Jezebel. Yes, people like to associate single women who are not married as being Jezebels, and they always consider something to be wrong with you. But she can't keep a man. She can't keep a. She must be a lesbian. Oh, she must be controlling. Oh, I wonder what's up with her to why she can't keep a man. If she can't keep a man, she must not be able to keep no members. I mean, people say all kind of stuff out there next, and you just have to go right on preaching the word with love and keep on praying for them. But that's another thing. But on the flip side, and I've got to tell both sides of the story, I have seen some of my fellow colleagues who are single in ministry kind of be insensitive to the needs of a family. Insensitive to the needs of people when they have to leave because their kids have commitments at school, or because they can't stay all night for a meeting because they got to be mindful that husband got to get up and go to work in the morning, and different things. Because the Bible tells us when a single person, they are concerned about the things of the Lord and how that they may please Him. But a married person or a married woman is concerned about the things of her husband and how she may please him. So singleness is a ministry, and marriage, being in a committed married relationship is also a ministry. And those of us who are single many times can devote, that's a plus, can't even ask for the pluses, but this is a plus, you can devote more time to God versus someone who may have to juggle between family obligations, children, and different things like that. So the pitfalls I feel like a lot of singles get into is the fact, number one, I can just speak personally, you don't always know how to embrace your other side. In other words, single, we can hide behind being bishop, being prophetess, being evangelist, being missionary, being apostle, being pastor, and not knowing how to say, okay, now it's time for me to be Stacey. Now it's time for me to be daughter. Now it's time for me to be mother or wife. Now it's time for me to be sister. Now it's time for just me to be me. Sometimes singles in ministry have a problem juggling and balancing that, and if you're not careful, you will make your entire existence about doing ministry work. Somebody might say, well, what's wrong with making your existence about ministry work? Well, your entire existence should not be just about doing ministry work, but it should be about doing the work of the ministry. In other words, many times we make our purpose and our ministries and even our relationship with God just join together in one big old obligation, and we don't realize sometimes that our love for Jesus may be separate from the work of the ministry. We lack balance. I can love the Lord and still enjoy a good vacation when I get tired and not have to feel slighted that I had to take a vacation, a couple of days off just to get my mind right. We can feel guilty that we're not just being a workaholic at the church every day, mopping, sweeping, vacuuming, cleaning the toilets, counseling, praying, giving of ourselves and not taking care of ourselves. We can kind of feel as a single person that that's just our job and our responsibility and our duty. And we can kind of not have balance in every other area of our life. I know that's something that I have to watch in my life. Especially for my women in ministry. Especially for my women in ministry who are single. For me, singleness is a gift. Now, I do want to be married. Let's make that clear. To the right man of God. So don't y'all start, because y'all know y'all done started on me before. But I do desire marriage. I do desire children. One day. That would be wonderful. However, I'm not thirsty. I'm not desperate. And I most certainly don't have a self-esteem issue because I'm single. And a lot of singles in ministry can really allow that to get them down to where they feel incomplete. Because, yes, you want that spouse to be there. A spouse can help you carry the workload of ministry, especially if they are also in ministry. When you're a single person in ministry, there is no one to fall on but Jesus. If you can't pay the bills, that's you. If you can't meet the needs of that congregation, that's you. It's on you. Preferably you got some good support and some good prayer warriors that can help pray you through. But it would be nice to have a spouse sometime to say, honey, why don't you help me with some of these responsibilities? Maybe one day I'll experience that. But anyway, you know, as women, I'm going to talk to the women now. As women, we have to really, really, really watch who we date when we're in ministry. Whew. Yeah. It's already a challenge to find someone who will agree with your Christian values and your morals, you know. The fact that you're not going to get any kind of goodies before marriage. Okay? Grown folks, you know what I'm talking about? That's already one thing. But then to find someone who shares the common interest, to actually want to carry ministry along with you, that's very rare. And if you marry somebody in ministry, it's almost like you're marrying somebody with a child, especially if they already have a pre-existing ministry before you all even get. In other words, like me, I'm an apostle. I've got ministry, an established ministry for a number of years. So you can't just kind of roll up in on where I am and just automatically just expect me to just kind of become Sally Homemaker, especially when all my life I've been committed to doing the work of ministry. You know, it's a hard balance. But I feel like there's somebody out there. But I'm certainly not going to waste a whole lot of time belly aching and griping and complaining about being lonely and wanting somebody. Because I feel like God has purpose for my life with where I am right now. So, but there are also people who are desperate, it seems, to keep other people single. You know? Oh, you don't need him. You don't need a man to do what God calls you to do. And I never, you know, I'm a girly girl, and I never want to take on the complex that I don't need a man just because I don't have a man. Now that's real talk. I don't ever want to give people or give women or even men for the matter the viewpoint. You don't need a woman in your life. You don't need a man in your life just because I'm single. You know. I love family. I love relationship. I value, respect, and honor people who are in relationship. And I try to be mindful of people who are married and who are developing relationship, you know. But it can be a pitfall when you are used to being singular, thinking for just one person, and then having to shift your mindset to think for two people. And I will admit, that's not easy. That's not easy. So, anyway, those are my thoughts. I was asked to talk about it. If you guys want to add anything, type below. And I look forward to the dialogue, okay? So this is Apostle Stacey Woods. And again, it's unscripted, unrehearsed, no notes, just speaking from my heart, speaking from my viewpoint. And I'm grateful that you watched. And I also want you to continue to enjoy Jesus and all his joys, and thank you for making ministry possible. Yeah.